Hello everybody, so today I have a book haul to show you. As usual, I know I say this every single time, but I'm so excited about all of these books that I have to show you today. There's like, I think just over 20 to show you since I last did a book haul, and I just can't wait to get to them. I have already read some of them. I have plans for videos to read some of them, and yeah, I'm overall like so hyped about so many of these. So the first two books that I'm going to show you are both by the same author and are both self-published, or originally were before they are now being traditionally published, and that is Alone with You in the Ether by Olivie Blake, and I also have Masters of Death by Olivie Blake as well. I think at this point I've just decided to eventually try and get all of her self-published work before they get traditionally published, just because I really love her writing and her work anyway, and there's just something about like her old covers that I really love. And also like the Atlas 6, this one has illustrations of the characters in there as well, so I'm going to be starting this one soon. This one is about a real estate agent who is a vampire, and this one is a romance. I love the simplicity of this cover as well, and I've heard this has just absolutely gorgeous writing, and I'm so excited for it. Next up, I have some poetry. So first of all, I have Homeland Calling, edited by Ellen Van Neerven. This is a collection of poems created by hip hop lyrics by Indigenous youth of Australia, and I was looking through this and I really love the sound of some of them. Like, I've read like a couple, like just to kind of like as a taste tester before I bought it. I've never actually read any poetry by First Nations people before, so I'm really excited to get to this and to see what it's about. There's also like a part in the middle that has like a bunch of like photos, and I'm really excited to see like what that's about. And yeah, I think I'm just really excited. I really want to get to more work by Indigenous authors in general, so I thought this might be a good start. I only own a couple by First Nations or Indigenous authors in Australia, which is really sad, but I'm working to fix that. If you have any recommendations of books by Indigenous Australian authors, please let me know down below. The next poetry collection I have is Bless the Daughter, Raised by a Voice in Her Head by Washan Shire. This collection is about a girl who doesn't really have a nurturing kind of person in her life, and it's about the way that she kind of stumbles into womanhood and about her life and her loved ones, and it focuses on pop culture, news headlines and all sorts of things, and I just think it's gonna be really good. I've never read anything by this author before, although now, like after I got this, I started seeing this author around more often. I know there's other work out there, but this is the first one I've seen from this author, so yeah, really excited to get to this one and see how I feel as well. The next two books are books that I'm very excited about. I mean, I'm excited about all of these, but these ones were an effort to get. So first of all, I have Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, and this is the UK hardback, which I wanted forever anyway, and I left it too late to order, and then it was so hard to track down, and so I finally have this beautiful hardback in the mail, signed by the author as well. I bought it from Depop because I was at my wit's end just trying to find a copy of this, but I got it and I'm so happy. So funny story about this, I actually ended up getting on Marketplace like a white copy, like the Waterstones edition of this, and I'm pretty sure it got stolen from my mailbox and I'm devastated about it. Hello. So I just want to say, maybe a couple of days later or like a week later after filming this video, I got the Waterstones edition in the mail, and so Australia Post lied to me. They said that it was delivered on like the 5th of May or something, and it arrived like exactly 2 months later, which is wild to me. Like, I'm so happy that I do actually have this because it is beautiful, but also like it wasn't stolen from my mailbox. They just said they delivered it when they didn't. So I just wanted to say that I did end up getting this one in the mail, so now I have 2 copies, but this one is stunning, so it's okay. I also obviously got Electra by the same author, and together they're so pretty. I've heard this author just has a really beautiful way of wording things, and has not like super flowery writing, but like kind of flowery writing, which I love. So yeah, I'm so excited for these 2, like you would not believe. And this one, I'm never letting this go because this was so hard to get a hold of. The next book is actually my most recent pickup, and that is Helloooo by Toni Morrison. I have wanted to read something by Toni Morrison for the longest time, and I was trying to decide like what book I wanted to pick up first, and I've been seeing this come up a fair amount on my Goodreads and TikTok and whatnot, and I just think it sounds so interesting and so good, so I decided to start off with Helloooo. And this is about young girls who are in a poor but really close-knit community. So it's about Nell and Helloooo, who are really inseparable, but then as they get older their paths end up separating, and Helloooo ends up moving to New York, I believe. Oh no, it just says the big city. While Helloooo escapes to the big city, Nell settles down and has a family, and Helloooo ends up kind of reappearing 10 years later and comes face to face with the community whose values are at odds with hers. It sounds so good. I'm so excited for it. I think I'm really gonna love it. All of Toni Morrison's works sound so good. Like, I really want to read The Bluest Eye, and what's the other one? Oh, Beloved as well. I really want to read Beloved, and I'm sure there's like more out there, but yeah, decided to pick Helloooo up. Really excited. I think I'm gonna love it. Next, I have a work of non-fiction. This is Unbound by Tarana Burke, who was the founder of the Me Too movement originally, and I am just so excited to read this memoir. I've been reading a lot more memoirs lately. Not a lot more, but like I've read like more this year than I have in my entire life, so that's more for me. But I'm really excited to read this. I've wanted to read this one since I saw that it was coming out, so yeah, I'm eager to see more about Tarana Burke's life. Next up, I have Vladimir by Julia May Jonas, and this is another one. I feel like I've talked about it a lot, but like maybe that's just kind of like in my own head and to like people I know in person, but I'm so excited for this one. So this is about a English professor who works at the same small liberal arts college that her husband does and that her husband teaches at. Her and her husband do have a mutual understanding when it comes to extramarital activities and things outside of their marriage and within their marriage, but she ends up finding out that her husband is under investigation for inappropriate relationships with students. While all of this is going on, the main character ends up getting infatuated and kind of obsessed with Vladimir, who is a young novelist who's also married, and it kind of goes from there. So really intrigued, adore the cover, and I do really want to pick this one up soon. I was going to pick this one up like as soon as it arrived in the mail, but I decided not to just because I wanted to be in the right mood for it, and I wasn't really in the mood for a book like this at all. But I hope to pick this one up as soon as possible because I'm so hyped. Next up, I have My Pen is the Wing of a Bird, which is a short story collection of stories written by Afghan women, and I am so excited for this one. I've actually already started reading this one. I'm not too far in. I can't find the bookmark. I think I was like memorizing the page number when I started this, so I have to work out where I'm at now. These short stories explore the lives of women in Afghanistan. A lot of these short stories were actually written before the US ended their occupation of Afghanistan and before the Taliban was even more of an influence than it already was beforehand. So I'm really intrigued to read the rest of these stories, and I just think it's going to be a really amazing collection. Next, I have Eileen by Otessa Moshfegh. I was like up and down with this book as to whether I should even try it. If you saw my mid-year book freakout tag, you'll know that My Year of Rest and Relaxation was my most disappointing read of the year so far. And so I was like, do I even want to like pick up another one of her books. I've decided to give this author a second chance because I didn't hate My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I just didn't love it as much as I was hoping to. So hopefully if I give her a second chance, maybe I'll like this one more. And it does have a different sort of synopsis, obviously, to the other one. It sounds like it might have a slightly different vibe as well, which I might find myself enjoying more. So I'm just going to read the synopsis for this. The Christmas season offers little cheer for Eileen Dunlop. Trapped between caring for her alcoholic father and her job as a secretary at the boys' prison, she tempers her dreary days with dreams of escaping to the big city. In the meantime, her nights and weekends are filled with shoplifting and cleaning up her increasingly deranged father's messes. When the beautiful, charismatic Rebecca arrives on the scene, Eileen is enchanted. But soon, Eileen's affections for Rebecca will pull her into a crime that far surpasses even her own wild imagination. So I think this one already kind of sounds like it has more of a solid plot than My Year of Rest and Relaxation did. It's got, you know, the troubled woman trope that I'm really enjoying lately, and I am really hoping I enjoy this. And is it sapphic? I didn't know if this is sapphic. I did not know it was sapphic. I don't know. I'll let you know when I find out, because I don't know if Rebecca and Eileen fall in love. It sounds like they do, but maybe it's just like they're best friends. I don't know. I'll find out. Next up, I have A Novel Obsession by Caitlin Barash, and this one I think I put in my most anticipated reads of the year, and I haven't read it yet. I only just picked it up like really recently. But this is basically about a novelist who becomes really obsessed with her boyfriend's ex and ends up stalking her for her content of the book she's writing. And I think it sounds incredibly unhinged, but super good. I'm so intrigued. Hopefully I really like this one because I've been looking forward to it for a while. Next I have Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi, and I didn't want this cover originally. I wanted the other one, but it was too expensive, so I got this one instead. This one is another one that has been on my radar for a while, but I've just never picked it up for some reason. But I've heard so many incredible things about Akwaeke's writing and their prose and everything, and I'm so excited for it. The synopsis is a little bit hard to grasp and weird to understand, but I have heard so many good things about this, and I'm really excited for it, and just to see what Akwaeke's writing is like, because I've heard so many good things about their writing. So definitely going to pick this one up, and I really want to pick up Akwaeke's like other books as well, but I figure I will read this first and then read their other books, so you know, one at a time. Next I have some romance. So I have Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake, and this is the first book I've ever read from Ashley Herring Blake. I know she's written so many books in the past before, and this is a sapphic romance novel, and I loved it so much. I loved it so much. I do go into more detail about this in my June wrap up if you want to go watch that video, but yeah, overall love this. Another romance I picked up was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Similar to Ashley Herring Blake, this is my first book by this author, but she has written other books before, and I love this. A lot of people say that Book Lovers is her best out of the 3 romance books that she's brought out, and I'm kind of nervous about going into the other ones, but I love this one so much. I had so much fun reading it, and it's basically about Nora and Charlie, who both work in the publishing industry. Nora is a agent, Charlie is a editor, and they end up having to work on the same book together for the same author, and they end up going to a small town, and yeah, small town romance vibes. I loved it. Just really fun, and I want to pick up the rest of her books I think as well, but I don't know what ones I want to kind of prioritize first. Next up I have Acts of Desperation by Megan Nolan. I am not gonna lie, I don't know too much of what this is about. It is about a woman who I think is in a toxic relationship. So like she's in love with the idea of love, and she ends up getting into this relationship like really quickly with a man, and he looks really perfect, he seems really perfect on the outside, but on the inside, he is a piece of shit. I've heard this one is absolutely fantastic, so I'm really excited to get to it. I'm just kind of like waiting for myself to be in the right kind of mind frame and mood to actually pick this one up. But yes, still very excited to read this. Next up, I have All the Lovers in the Night by Meiko Kawakami, and this was kindly sent to me by Pan Macmillan Australia, so thank you so much for sending this book my way. I am really eager to get to this one as well. I got Breast and Eggs the previous Christmas and I haven't read it yet, but I'm really eager to get to it. This is translated from Japanese. I've heard so many good things about this author's work and I think it's just gonna be something I really enjoy. And it's kind of like literary fiction vibe, so it's about like a freelance proofreader in her 30s who lives alone. That's all I really know, but I have heard really good things about this and I am obsessed with the covers. Can we just appreciate like the covers for like these books? I'm obsessed with them. Like, I think they look so cool. Next up, I have I Kiss Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. I have the Waterstones exclusive edition, which is so stunning. I'm obsessed with it. I was kindly sent the paperback by Macmillan as well, but I forgot I requested it and I pre-ordered this one. So now I have 2 copies and I don't know what I'm gonna do with the second, but that's okay. I'm just under 150 pages into it and so far it's really fun. I have put it down a few times just because I haven't been in the mood for like a YA contemporary, but the kind of like fun mystery aspect of it is really cool. So it's about this girl named Shara Wheeler who ends up just disappearing, and before she disappears she ends up leaving all of like these notes and clues and letters to the last 3 people she kissed, which includes Chloe and her boyfriend and another guy. And so these 2 guys and Chloe end up getting together to try and figure out where Shara Wheeler is, what happened and why. And yeah, it's a fun time. I don't know what's happening so far, but I'm enjoying it. Next up, I have Woman Eating by Claire Coda. As soon as I saw this, I had to pick it up because like I am first of all obsessed with the cover. Like the cover, stunning. Maybe one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen. I'm in love with it. But also, it is about a vampire named Lydia. Lydia is living away from her mother for the first time in her life and is experiencing things for the first time on her own. And she's also really reluctant to feed on humans. So this is kind of just about Lydia living her life and her struggle to kind of coincide like her human side with her vampire side. And it just, I'm obsessed with the idea. I'm just really excited about this because obviously it's a vampire novel, but it's not the vampire novel that you typically hear about in the sense that there's like lots of bloodlust or there's like a paranormal romance going on. Like it just seems like a more kind of like chilled, laid back sort of like contemporary, if you will, but with a vampire instead of a human. And I just think that sounds so cool. So I am so excited for this. So excited. I'm gonna pick it up like as soon as I can. I'm so hyped. I've got 2 more books. So the next book I have is Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I don't know why I picked this one up either because I DNF normal people and I don't even know how I feel about Sally Rooney's work yet I got this book. It was like super cheap on Booktopia recently, so I got it from there. And I mean, look, at least now I own all of Sally Rooney's work, so I can see what one I like best. I'm gonna read this with a friend eventually. I just don't know when, but I decided to pick it up because it was really pretty and I do want to give it a chance. The last book that I have to show you is one that you have definitely seen everywhere online, and that is Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors. And this cover, absolutely stunning. I feel this way about this cover as I do about this cover. Like this vibe, I'm obsessed. So this is essentially a romance between Cleo and Frank who meet, and it's like a whirlwind kind of romance, and it reshapes their lives and those around them, and it follows all of their friends and like the people who are close to them, and it sounds so good, and I think I'm going to love it. And apparently the writing is really good as well. So they are all of the books that I have hauled over the past few months, and I love looking at them. I'm so excited about so many of these, and I say that in every book haul video now, but like truly I can't wait. Like there are some amazing sounding books in here, and books that I've been like really looking forward to getting as well. So I'm just really excited to have my hands on so many of these in particular, and to get to reading, and it's gonna be a good time. Comment down below where you think I should start with reading these, because so many of them are like prioritized on my TBR, which doesn't make any sense because there's so many of them, but it's just so hard to choose what I actually want to read from this pile, because I've been looking forward to so many of these books for so long, and now like they've finally arrived, or I finally have them, and it's just it's a lot. I will leave all of my socials down below as well if you want to go check them out. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter and Twitch at twitch.tv/tkitty with 2 Y's, where I stream reading sprints and games. I hope you have a fantastic day or night, and I'll see you all next time for a new video.